In this video, I'm going to show you how to configure Dreamweaver to work on web pages, and in this case, an actual website. So I have the local root folder sitting here on my desktop, and I've got it sitting open here, okay? And for this class, this is the folder that we're going to save all of our work across the semester. You recall in the assignments folder, there's all the folders to put our work in. We'll save all of our work there. And this will be the local copy of our work. And you'll work locally here within this folder, and then you'll upload them to the web server so that I can view them. You'll also go check them live on the web that way. So what I want to do is get Dreamweaver set up for that work. Now you can open just an HTML file in Dreamweaver and save it, make changes, save it, so forth. But a lot of the power of Dreamweaver has to do with working on a whole site. And so Dreamweaver can have multiple sites set up, and you just pick between the sites. So like the one you're going to work on, it looks within your root folder, gives you access to those files. And you can not only edit and save to that folder, but it can save the login information for your web server so that you can upload files directly from Dreamweaver as well. Okay, so while we do this, let's go look. Here in Chrome, I have Project 1 open. So maybe you're doing this for the first time for Project 1, or maybe you're having to go set up again. If you're doing it for Project 1, we are working through the step-by-step instructions here. You already have downloaded the local root folder, and now we're here on configuring Dreamweaver to connect to the web host. Okay. Directly below that, I'm teaching this class at two schools. So for Chico State and at Butte College, I have instructions here, and I have gone and opened up the PDF right here in another tab. So I'm going to show that to you. The video link right here is the video you're watching right now. But I can click on that PDF, and I have it open here, and you also have written instructions on how to set this up. I'm going to scroll down. Let's see, let's get to this page right here, because this has our login information that we're going to need. So we'll need to access that in a minute. Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to hide this away. So let's hide that. And I've already launched Dreamweaver, so I'm going to go pull up Dreamweaver. So we'll go over more of Dreamweaver, how to work with files in Dreamweaver. But first, let's just work on getting set up. So the first thing I want to do is I want to look for my Files panel in Dreamweaver. I already have it open. You can see up here in the upper right, there's these tabs up here, and I have the Files panel open. If you don't have the Files panel open, you go up to Window, and you can find all the various windows available to you here. So see, there's Files, there's a checkbox which just indicates that it's already open. So if yours is not showing, go up to Windows, select Files, and it will open it. Now this one is showing all the files in a local folder. In this case, you notice right up here it says Chico Art Center. So this is actually an old site. This is not their current site, but these are all the files for the Chico Art Center site. Okay, and so I can click here, and I have a selection of different sites that's how I move between different sites. Okay, so and here you will see all the different files that are in that folder. Also notice, I'll point it right here, you see where it says local files, okay, and that's my local folder here. Now go locate this icon right here. See the icon right there, this little square icon. And if you hover over it, you see it says expand to show local and remote sites. So let's click on that. It breaks that window free, okay, so it can move around. And you'll see now that these are my local files here, and over here on the left, you see it says remote server. So this is a view that you may find handy as well, because remember, we have the two locations. You're working on files locally, then when you're done with them, or when you want to test them, you select them and you upload them to the server here. So when I'm connected to the server, this will show me what files are sitting out there on the server. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on setting the site up. So to do that, I'm going to come up here to the Site menu. Now, we have a file menu. I want to point this out. We have a file menu. I can create new files, okay? But new files in Dreamweaver are typically HTML files, which is a web page. Okay, so that's a file. But we're working with a site, and a site is the whole folder of files. Okay, so I'm going to go to Site and say New Site and get this dialog box here. Okay, site setup for unnamed site. So the first thing we need to do is come right here to site name, and I need to give it a name. Anything descriptive. What often works best is if it has your name and the class. So I'm going to say MADT222 and Michael A. Hayes. Okay, so give it an appropriate name there. This name will be used in a few minutes. We're going to create a shortcut to help you set the site up again later if you need to. So give it something appropriate there. Now look right below. It says local site folder, and it's got this is a strange path it has right here. Actually, this is from the one we were in a minute ago. I don't want to have to type this out, so look for the folder icon here at the end, and you can click on that folder and it'll let you select it. So I'm going to click on that folder. It's going to bring up a dialog box. I'm going to come over here and find the desktop button on the left. And here's my messy desktop, but there is the local root folder right there. So go select the local root folder and say choose, and then you can see it fixed my path right here. Okay, so that's the easiest way. Use the folder icon, brings up the dialog, select the thing that you want, and it fills the path in. Okay, this just says local root folder is sitting on my desktop. M. Hayes is my username on this computer. Okay. So now I've selected the root folder, and it's going to work in that folder the entire time I'm working on this site. Okay, the next step, I'm going to come over here to the servers tab on the left side and click on it. Now I have no server set up right now, so there's nothing in this list. So I want to find this plus icon right here so that I can add one. So let's click the plus. And now I can give it my information. So we can just leave it on basic up here at the top. Now I need to give it a server name. The server name honestly is not used anywhere. So you can name it anything you want. It'll just show up in that list. I'm going to say Hayes.media. I'm just going to say Hayes.media. It could say Hayes.media server, but that is the domain associated with that server, because that's where all of our web work is. I misspelled media there. Hayes.media. Okay, we're going to connect using FTP. That's File Transfer Protocol. Sometimes some servers will want you to use SFTP, and that is Secure File Transfer Protocol, but in this case we're just sticking with standard FTP. Okay, our FTP address. So now I'm going to switch back and forth between Dreamweaver and that PDF that I had open. So I can flip over here to Chrome, and there I have it open, and you see I've got a screenshot there. So you see on this one I said Hayes.media hosting. Okay, that's fine. FTP. Here we go. My FTP address is ftp.hayes.media. I'm going to flip back and type ftp.hayes.media. Okay, so get that one plugged in there. Next, I need my username. Flip back over. Now you'll see on the example I have bmhayes@hayes.media. Okay, so that is my username for my Chico State FTP account that I've created these accounts on my server. So I've set one up for each of you. You have to use your username. So this would be the username that is used on your Chico State email. So for instance, my email is bmhayes@csuchico.edu. Yours, I believe, it's @student.chico.edu, I believe. But the part before the @ sign, that's the part that you're going to use for your username. And remember, sometimes they have numbers attached to them at the end of them, so make sure you include that. So like mine could have been mhayes001 or something like that. So you make sure you use that whole thing. Okay, so let's flip back over. I am bmhayes@, so do your username at hayes.media. Okay. Now, the password. This doesn't show anything on the slide. It's just blocked out right there. But you need to use your student ID number for your password. Okay, so when I created the accounts, I had our roster up and I could see all of your ID numbers. So your ID number, Chico State ID number, is your password. So flip back over here and type that in here. I'm going to type my password. So I think I typed it. Okay, very good. At this point, let's see, we don't use the root directory, and we can do the web URL in a minute. But before we do that, let's use the test button. Okay, so click on the test button, and there we go. That's what you're looking for right there. Dreamweaver connected to your web server successfully. So that's what you're looking for. If you didn't get that, could be a couple of things. One is if you're starting off first thing and you just added the class, I might not have created your account yet. Okay, so check with me and make sure that I've created your account. All of you who are already in the class have an account, so at that point you need to check your information. So all of the settings up here, you would want to check and see if you have any errors in those settings up there. Okay, so check those again. If all these read right, then check your password, type it again, and make sure that's right, and then retest. The last piece of information here is the web URL, and this is what we use when we want to go visit the website. So I flipped back over to my browser to check the setup here. So you'll see it's hayes.media/students/MADT222/ and then your username. Okay, so that's what we have to put in here. So let's flip back over here. So hayes.media/students/MADT222/ and then use your username here. I'm using mine, but use your username. And by the way, this is the web address that you will use to go check your work live on the internet. It's the web address I'm going to use to go check your work to give you grades. Okay, so we are done here. We've got the login information, we've tested it, and we have added the web URL so that it knows where it's going. So I'm going to go ahead and click on save. Okay, and now you can see my server sitting up here. We're almost done. Last, we need to go to the advanced settings tab over here, and it drops us into local info. Over here, just need to check two things. One is links relative to. Make sure this is set on document. Okay, site root is another approach, and while that approach is a legitimate approach, for some reason I find it to be broken in Dreamweaver. Okay, so you don't want to touch that one. So leave it on document, which is where it already is. Then down here there's two check boxes. One is already checked. They need to both be checked. Okay, so enable cache. This is one of the advantages to using Dreamweaver for your site, is it actually remembers the images you put on pages and where they're stored. It remembers the links between pages, things like that. So that's caching. And then case sensitive links checking. This is a good one to use because most web servers are Unix, and Unix servers are case sensitive. The Mac doesn't care. It thinks an uppercase I and a lowercase I are the same letter. It works that way. Unix servers are not, and so that'll help keep you straightened out there. Okay, so make sure those are both checked. This is on document, and now we can click save. Now it's going to tell you that it's going to create the cache. You can go let it do that, and you are all set. Now you know that you're in your site because if you look right over here in our files panel right here at the top, see right here, that is the name of the site I just created. And then down here you can see there's my folder right there. That's my root folder. When I hover over it, you can see the path and the name, and this is what's in my folder. Okay, I'm going to hide this for a second, and let's hide that for a second. So see, here's my root folder on my desktop. There's the contents of that folder, and you'll notice that when I go back to Dreamweaver, it looks exactly like this. So this is not a copy of those files. This is just another way of viewing those files, okay? It's just a window looking out there at them. Okay, so your site is all set up now. A couple more steps I want to take before we're all done. The first one is, let's create a shortcut file that you can use to set up your site. And this is important if you are using the workstations in our classroom. If you're using those workstations, you have to set the site up every time because those things reset. Every time you restart the computer, it forgets about the sites that have been set up there. To create this shortcut, I'm going to go up to the site menu again, and this time we're going to go to Manage Sites. Okay, so this is how I can go make changes to sites that already exist. You go to Manage Sites, and this list here, you see this is the one I just created. Okay, so find your site, maybe the only one on yours. Make sure it's selected. Find the icons right down here and select the rightmost one. So see the one with the folder and the arrow on it. If you hover, it says Export the currently selected site. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, it gives me a dialog box exporting the site. And you want to leave it here on Backup My Settings. Okay, leave it on that and say OK. And then that gives you a Save dialog box. Now by default, this one has pointed to my local root folder on the desktop. I actually don't want this file in my root folder. Okay, remember the root folder are just my website files. This is a shortcut to set Dreamweaver up, and if I save it into my root folder, I might accidentally upload it to my server, which means I'm putting my login information on my server, which is not a good spot for it. So I am just going to click on the desktop icon and save it on my desktop. So I'm going to do that and say Save, and then I can say Done. I'm going to hide this, and you'll see right here I have a shortcut file. Okay. Now, if you're working on your own computer, like if you're working on your own laptop and you take it to class and you bring it home and so forth, your site will remain set up. You don't need to use this shortcut file. Okay. But if you are working on one of the lab computers at school, you're going to need this to get set up. You don't have to. You can go through this whole process every time, but the shortcut file makes it much faster. Okay, one last thing over in Dreamweaver. Let's just look at a file here real quick. We're going to spend more time on this in another video, but I just want to show you that, again, here's my Files panel. Remember that I can come over here and click on that square icon. On the right, these are local. Over here, these are remote. If you look right up here at the top, you see this little plug icon. If I click on it, it connected me to the server, and apparently I have files on the server. You won't have files if you're just setting up, so you won't have anything here. So there's files over there. If I want to edit a file, I can click here, select it, and double click it. Oops, let's close this. Click on the red box, and here's my file right here. Okay. I've got a couple different views. This is the preview here. This is my code view here. I'm in split. You'll notice here at the top I could go all to code, or I could go all to design. And then there is actually a live mode as well. And this is a better preview, but it's harder to work in. So I usually stay in design, and I stay in split because I'm going to show you a lot of code as we go. Okay. So that's enough for now. I'm going to close my file out, and we will pick up in another video as far as editing and uploading and things of those sorts.